I fished down here at St. Mary's Lake a little bit last night, probably about an hour, right at sunset, and I saw quite a few fish surfacing, quite a few smaller bass cruising in the shallows, but I don't know, for some reason they just won't bite what I throw at them, because apparently I suck at bass fishing, but that's okay, because there's always another day to try, always another day to get back out there. So I'm thinking probably a good chance that they'll be biting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when it's 87 degrees out, but you never know unless you try. So let's get down there. Okay, I think I found a spot that's gonna work. So right below me, literally right in front of me, there are, I count 4 bass, all around 2 to 3 pounds, and probably a 15-pound carp. So I'm gonna throw this Senko in there and see what happens, because these fish just seem to be sitting there feeding off the bottom. So I'm gonna pitch it in gently right past them so I don't scare them. And hopefully one comes up and grabs it, but they're literally right there. Huge carp, huge carp. Let's get them. What's interesting is that these 4 or 5 bass that are right here are actually feeding with this carp, and they eat very different things. The carp will typically feed off the bottom and get whatever they can find off the bottom, different particles, droplets, aquatic vegetation, and bass will usually eat much more active things like fish, crawdads, stuff like that. So it's interesting that I'm watching these bass and this carp all kind of feed together. It's pretty unique, really. Alright, so I switched it up even more, but I'm staying with the Senko. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are confused and don't know what I mean. If I'm staying with the Senko, how am I changing it up? I'm not changing the color, exact same lure, but I cut it in half. So I've actually found this, the Senko chunk, as we like to call it, my brother and Troy and I. We call it the Senko chunk. And this was actually probably our #1 producer of bass of either largemouth or smallmouth the entire summer. Smallmouth in particular, but the whole year, really. We fished Senko chunks probably over half the time and caught probably well over half our fish, probably 3/4 or more of our fish out of 100 fish this entire year came on this exact kind of deal. Senko chunk, baby. So super finesse bait. Let's see if they freaking hit it. I've actually lost my visual on those 3 or 4 bass in that carp. I'm sure they're just kind of moving along the bank looking for different stuff to eat right now. Might move in a minute. Already spotted a few bass starting to cruise around right here right now. Kind of warm, so getting bites might not be a guaranteed thing, but at least we're seeing them. We can attack them in different ways. A lot of the good fishing right now is going to be done finesse with how warm it is. They're just not going to be super active. They're going to be wanting to stay deep, stay in shaded areas. We have a lot of shaded areas right here. We got submerged logs and stuff, so there's a good chance that we're going to have bass cruising around at these little bit deeper and cooler spots. Looking for some shade today. There's a bite. Let it go. It's a good start. Got a bite on the second cast. He just didn't commit to it. He was kind of short grab and pull, and he just wouldn't commit to that. So a good way when you're fishing a grub, kind of, ooh, there's a big batch. Kind of when you're still fishing a grub, is to keep your line a little bit slack. so that as soon as you see that fish, take your Senko, your grub, your worm, whatever you're fishing, as soon as you see that line start to kind of peel out and you have full commitment after 2 or 3 seconds, you can set the hook and you know you're going to get a good hook setting them. And most likely have that fish on the end of your line. Lately I've been just doing some experimental stuff with different baits, trying to figure out what the fish in this lake like, because I've never fished in the Midwest before. I'm just a little Northwest boy, so I don't know exactly if the patterns are going to be any different with these fish depending on time of year, food source. Obviously that'll vary from lake to lake that you're fishing in the United States, but at the same time it definitely varies from region to region. And it gets a lot colder here in the winter than it does back at home, and a little bit warmer in the summer and everything too. So you have to take those different patterns into account and different food sources to figure out what these fish will consistently feed on and what baits you need to use to entice a bite and really imitate. There we go, it was on the tip of my tongue. Imitate what they're trying to eat and what their food pattern is. Alright, just switched spots for the second time today. We've got a nice spot here, lots of wood, lots of cover for the fish to be at, and super shady. Great looking spot, nice and deep. I probably won't be able to pull a fish out of here, but you never know. We'll see. Lots of carp jumping too. I didn't realize there's so many carp in this lake, but I'm probably gonna come here another time, hopefully soon, with some corn and a single hook, and that's it. Catch some carp for you guys and show you how to do that. But first, I gotta get a bass on the line. I've gotten stung by more bees in Indiana than fish caught so far. 1-0 bees to fish. Hopefully we can change that ratio right about now. Another thing to remember when you're using stick baits of any type, grubs, whatever it may be, something that you fish slow, a lot of times these fish are going to hit it on the drop. So as that lure's falling, after you pull it off the bottom, they're going to hit it as that lure's falling. I mean, sometimes a lot of your strikes will come just when you cast out and that lure's on its way down. But as you're fishing it, a lot of the times those fish are going to pick it up and run with it as soon as it comes off the bottom and it's falling again. Or when it's even sitting on the bottom too. So that's just another thing to think about and something to keep in mind when you're fishing these dead baits is you want to be as dead as possible. So don't need to fish them like crazy. Alright, good bass right below me right here. About 3 feet of water. Gonna try not to spook him. Gonna try to get a couple casts in and see if he'll bite. So I'm gonna set that down. I'm gonna work hard for a fish today. I need my first fish out of Indiana. I'm not going back to do homework fishless, so let's see if I can get one out of here. Uh-oh. Hey! Alright guys, check that out. Swallowed that too. They like the corn apparently here. Guys, thanks for tuning in and watching today. Watching me catch some real nice Midwest bluegill. No Northwest bass, but I'm sure that's all going to be coming real soon here with you guys. Hopefully we can just keep getting content up. Troy back at home, keep slaying those bass. and he'll get those posted for you. He'll get this video posted for you. He's really good with the editing stuff. And hopefully I can get out sometime soon and make some time in my schedule to go catch some more Midwest bluegill and maybe even a bass or two. Who knows? Just gotta freshen up my skills, I guess. So, hey, again, thanks for watching, guys. Tune in later. We're gonna have more episodes coming, and fish on.
Why don't you be in it?
Because it's the first one ever.
Whatever.